I have been watching the old Kurosawa's film before, long before he started to make film. You know, Sanjuro Yojimbo, Seven Samurais, and so forth. Very popular film. So one of the films is it's called The Most Beautiful, and this was 1944 made film. Right during the war he made film by the pressure of Japanese militaristic pressure during the war. So he has to make, I think originally he was asked making a film of zero fighter, zero combat plane fighter is the one that who, you know, commits suicide by plunging onto the ships or buildings or whatever by flying and get into this particular structure. And but he didn't make that film. He made instead this particular film called The Most Beautiful. And you know, this is something, instead of shooting a film for the man fighting the war, or the, you know, depictions of very you know, militaristic type of film, he made this film about these female workers who voluntarily come to this lens factory. The lens factory is, I would say, you know, making more or less like a war tools and camera or whatever, you know, that used the wartime. So a whole bunch of the female workers work there, who came from the countryside mostly, and they lived there in that kind of a dormitory type of setting. So the most striking thing is that these female workers are very much, I would say, you know, the dedicated and the brainwashed, of course, during the war. And so they are willing to sacrifice themselves even though they are sick and don't feel well, but they want to go to work. Always thinking about the men who went to fight at the war. So they are very, you know, high-spirited maybe, but of course there's lots of problem among those factory workers. Some of them are, you know, very determined to work harder, and they feel like it's a shame to to go back to the country where the parents live because they failed. So they try to persist on that particular environment, and they show their life almost like a, you know, like a, they are very faithful to the actual life of those people, and they have fun. They play the volleyball for the you know, for the pastime, and they are depicted very satisfied. They, you know, without you know, knowing that they are children of this particular wartime atmosphere, pushed by the government pressure. And but in this film, the not so many men appear there. Only men are those people who are overseeing those female workers, and they are very, very nice, very cordial, and also very warm to those female workers. Yeah, that's one of the things that kind of amazing. And so why the Kurosawa chose, instead of zero airplanes fighters, have chosen this particular topics of female workers. And I could see, he, even though under the pressure, he wanted to kind of depict this goodness of the people and the dedication and so forth, so that satisfy the government pressure or whatever. And but the outcome is very endearing, I would say. And for me, I was born 1948, right? War ended 1945, and so I didn't know about this particular era. So one thing, it was very, very interesting, and then that the life during the war is more or less like I felt like a very, very strange society that particular time. My parents went to Manchuria, right? Typical Japanese invasion to Manchuria, China. And so when I was born, when I was growing up, my parents never talked that much about that time, but the bits and pieces I kind of heard, and I wanted to hear more about the life of that particular time. So, but they didn't talk that much. So for me, to see this film is more or less like a very secretive, very intriguing Japanese society around that war. And it was very interesting to me that how much those people dedicated themselves to the life of Japanese society at that time. Very humbling experience for me that those people are pretty much the same as everybody else now, as we are today. They are the same people, yet their dedication, their strengths, all these things are tremendous. And think about the war itself, why it has to be like that. It's completely unknown era for me, and a completely strange era that people shouldn't forget. Today, like a Hiroshima memorial is still thriving there. The broken wartime building by atomic bomb was displayed there. We don't hear much about this particular wartime sentiment after the war, because after the war it became a very, very different, sentiment. Very different. I think people become all of a sudden like a peace-loving, people all over Japan. And so Kurosawa made this film to say something about this young female workers, plight, their dedication. But at the same time, I think there is this sentiment, even during the war, I would say, how they work hard for the country, and but they're not different from you and me today, but they are thrown up in that particular society. Yeah, I have to kind of think about what I should be thinking about this. Although the film is not, I don't know it's commercially successful or not, but even today I wouldn't say it's not much, because there's not much freedom in that particular film. It's very, very restricted, very confined environment. It's not the greatest film by Kurosawa's, but still you marvel about his filmmaking and his depictions of these young female workers. Yeah.